Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Sam and today we're here playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, and specifically we are playing the Happy Home Paradise DLC. I just unlocked my 30th vacation home, completed it, so we are here building the apparel shop today. Look at Sweet Boy Nico enjoying a soda in the background. We're gonna go talk to Lottie and see what she has to say. Let's get this vacation home building ready to go. So we run in, talk to Lottie, change into our uniform. You know the drill. We are ready to work. Lottie took us over to the space where the apparel shop is, and I played around with the exterior, which I struggled with for a little bit. I decided to do something bold originally, but went back and changed it in the end. I was also caught off guard by the fact it's next to the restaurant, so I know I need to go back and change that as well. So the first thing I like to do in Happy Home Paradise is just play around with the room sizes. I always kind of kid myself and say that I might go for a smaller room, and I always just max it out on the width and height of the room, because there's so many fun items you can use these days, especially with the shops. I feel like they are, just prime for some of these bigger spaces. So I find that to really set the vibe of a room, I play around with the flooring and the wallpaper first. I take a look first at the order tab and I see what they suggest for us to use, what Happy Home Paradise thinks would make a good apparel shop, and I generally never agree with them, but I think it gives me some good inspiration. So if you don't know where to start in your Happy Home Paradise builds, maybe play around with some of their pre-selected suggestions. I ended up going with this apparel wall, which I thought was adorable, and I struggled with the flooring for quite a bit, but eventually landed on this patchwork tile flooring that I was really liking, because I feel like I wanted this apparel shop to be really fun, and I wanted it to be eccentric and almost kitschy. I was planning to use the kitschy tile flooring, but I decided to go with the patchwork because I feel like it ended up being a little bit more muted and really complemented the colors of the accent wall. Then I went in and I just started playing around with the new items. The one thing that's really great about Happy Home Paradise is you can just spam the items, and if they don't work for you, you can remove them. No harm done. So I was super obsessed with this hanging clothing rack, and I loved this colorway of it, which was considered the white colorway. And I played around quite a bit because I was interested in using this mid-sized clothing rack, but for some reason the colors, I just could not get them to work. You'll see me struggling here, thinking maybe I would just use all of that hanging clothing rack item, which is my new favorite, but it felt like too much of the same thing, and too much of a good thing is never a good thing. So I started playing around. I thought, okay, great, well, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put these hanging items on the back wall. Maybe they're the sale section, maybe they're the returns, I don't know, but let's make them the star of the show since I'm most interested in them anyway. And then I really played around a little bit with the small, the mid-sized clothing rack and then the small clothing rack. I love these items, and I find myself using them in Happy Home Paradise builds a lot, but I could not get them to work in the apparel shop. You'll see me tossing them around, spamming it, doing what I can do, trying to make it work, but it never did. Okay, this next moment was a serious blonde moment, even though I am not blonde. I tried for so long to figure out how to put clothes on the mannequins that they give you, only to pause and Google and realize that the clothes that go on the mannequins become auto-populated. They're for sale in the clothing store, which, Lottie did tell us at the beginning, and I completely blew past her and ignored it. So if you, like me, were thinking, why do I want these clothesless mannequins in my store? Don't worry, they fill up with clothes that come for sale. So once I figured that out and realized, maybe I should read the dialogue a little bit, I thought the best next step would be to have a changing room. And since my walls were windows, I felt like we really needed a fully enclosed changing room. So I used the standard changing room and used a sable print on it. I wanted to explore using this merchandise table because I thought it could be really cute for the hats. I end up removing it in the end because something about the silver bars around it just didn't sit right with me. But initially I really liked the wood on the bottom, and I felt like it would look nice with this accessories case. I started making the left side of the apparel shop an accessories area. And something I was really kind of bummed about is that we get the mannequins for like hats, shirts, and pants, but we don't have any shoes. So I knew I wanted to include a shoe area somewhere in here. But I thought, okay, let me start with a checkout area. That's gonna set the spacing of the room, and so that's what I'm playing around with next. Usually I'm using just like the standard counters, but since I've done the hospital, I have this reception table, which I felt like was actually quite cute. This feels like what you would see in a boutique where they have like an open, kind of funky shaped area for the checkout. So I thought that was super fun. I put this counter in the back of the checkout area, and something I really wanted to play around with was the idea of like this being a hub where the workers of the apparel shop could package up clothing for that they just recently sold, right? So I have this little box, which I think is meant for to-go food, but I used it kind of as an idea for like, how would we package up our accessories, since we have an accessory section in the store now. I tossed in this gift wrapping box and the incredible stack of clothes item. This is such a great, cute item. I can't wait to use it in my home island as well, because I feel like it just like the new items add so much reality into the game. So I put that in the back kind of as a place for like the shop owner or worker to go ahead and, make package thing up and put a little bit of paper bags in there so they could, send them off with our happy customers. Next, I knew I wanted to add some greenery in here, and so what else would I do rather than use the beautiful plant partition? I feel like I can use this item in every build, and to me, I don't care if it's indoors, outdoors, it looks fine to me, and I find it just adorable. This is one of my favorite items of the 2.0 update. I played around quite a bit with using these tension racks because I do find they typically look great in every build, but for some reason I just could not get them to work here. So I pivoted a little bit and, still put some shelves on, but the tension rack itself wasn't working for me. So I did the white colorway of this small wooden partition because I love putting things on those shelves. I think that's such a cute little detail that we have now, thanks to the update. One of my favorite items from the update is also these stacked shopping baskets. I feel like Nintendo really observed everything that everyone was like creating on their own prior to the update, and they really went with the effort of like creating items that were things that we all had been creating in some kind of backwards way. So like a basket on the basket on like the rolling cart, and then they resulted in a shopping cart item. So for me, the stacked baskets are absolutely it. I knew I had to show them off here in our shop. I added some other fun items like, the mom's pen stand, some boxes. I played around with some of the new items like the modeling kits, and I wanted things that just really felt shop-like. I added a sweet humidifier because suddenly the shop was becoming quite girly, and I loved that. I felt like it was great that it became cute. It was kind of different than what I was expecting when I first started, especially when I went ahead with the exterior. For me, I felt like the exterior was going to be like this groovy, funky shop, but as I kept designing it and kept building, I just was really enjoying this like cute idea. So I played around with some table arrangements. It felt kind of weird to me that we had mannequins just in the middle of the shop and no like stack of clothing behind them where you could pick up multiples. So I played around a little bit with both the vintage desk and the ranch table, and in the end I think the vintage desk just looked better. I tried the Nordic low table. I wanted some kind of white table, but I didn't know which one. In the end, the vintage low table was actually what I ended up picking, and I added some clothing items to that table. I played around with doing like maybe shirts behind the shirt section and then pants behind the pants section, but you couldn't really place the pants on the table like I wanted, so I just decided to do complementary items. I did some shirts, I did some shoes, and I just sort of spiced it up. I played around with the socks because I feel like placing socks in this game is just the cutest thing. But in the end, I really wanted to make sure I was displaying some shoes. So I did some shirts, some socks, some shoes, and, give a little bit of variety to our shop so that we're really covering all items of clothing. From there, I felt like the socks didn't add enough height to the build, so I went for a hat instead, and I just feel like it provided something kind of interesting to the shop, some little more dimension than we originally had, and I was really enjoying that. At this point, you can see I removed that cart item. I can't remember the exact name of it, but the silver around it was just really bothering me for some reason. It didn't look as cute as I was hoping for, so I went ahead and just moved it and replaced it with another of the vintage low table. I gave a cash register, of course, to our shop worker and a chair, because in this house we believe that our retail workers should be able to sit while they're on the job. Once we played around a little bit more with some of these fun items, I just wanted to add something more interesting. I was looking through all of the order tab again to find some inspiration, but the next thing I felt like it was missing was just more greenery. Like, I feel like in a shop, a little boutique like this, you would typically find like houseplants and things like that. Maybe you wouldn't find a plant partition, but in my mind it was the best fit. So I added some plants to the corner of the room, and the next thing I wanted to do was really just like my wall and ceiling decor. Every time I design in Happy Home Paradise, this is typically my method, the method to my madness. I start with the walls, and then the flooring. I add items, especially any big focal areas. So for this space, I knew that like I wanted a cash register and a checkout spot. And then I go for the walls and the ceilings. So I added those really cute sconces to the wall in the pink colorway. I added some air conditioning because I know we're on the archipelago. You can see me here hovering over like the mounted bikes and the skateboards. I was just kind of commenting that it would be such a cute idea to do maybe like a sports shop for your apparel shop and put the mounted bikes on the wall, skateboards, and have like all athletic gear for sale. I don't know. I thought that could be a really cute idea and maybe something we'll build in the future now that I've done this like super girly shop. I seriously just have so much fun designing in Happy Home Paradise. I feel like the DLC has given us way more than I could have ever expected. And for me, like just being able to add some of these small touches without having to source items like we have to do on our home island is just incredible. At this point, I felt like the left side of my shop was the accessory section, but it was lacking. And I wanted to add some more interesting items like the little accessory stand. And I ended up adding the makeup pouch, which is just like such a freaking cute item. If you guys don't know, in Happy Home Paradise, if you're under like the furniture items or the miscellaneous tab, you can press down on the R joystick and you can filter by item type. That is one of my favorite features in Happy Home Paradise because if you know you need like cooking items, you can just search right by cooking items. To me, that's a super underrated feature, and I really wish we could actually order in like Nook shopping that way. It makes it so much easier to find an item, especially if you don't remember the exact name of it. With all the new 2.0 items, I honestly am like having trouble keeping track of some of them that have similar names. So yeah, that's just want to call that out in case you weren't aware of that feature. I think it's super handy. At this point, I was pretty close to being finished, but I knew I needed to rework the exterior. When we started out, I wanted like this really like wild and crazy shop, and it wasn't doing it for me anymore. So I went to Lottie and I told her we need to redo the exterior, and I went for like this simple clothing item. Although I think it could be really fun if you want to do like a Schitt's Creek style store and you do like all black and white clothing, similar to what David does. If you're a Schitt's Creek fan, you know what that's all about. I played around a little bit with like the different walls and different doors, but in the end, I just went for a pink ceiling, and I finished things out with the simple yellow wall, and then I picked her clothing style. I was kind of torn here. I didn't know if I wanted to go cute or simple, but I went ahead with cute. And Lottie says Wardell is going to order our clothing for us. I thought that was so sweet. I played around with who was going to run the shop. I thought it would be hilarious if Bob ran the shop, but like that's just not Bob's energy. Bob is doing something a little bit more chaotic than that. You know, maybe if we do like the sports shop and Bob could just be chilling all day long, that might be his kind of vibe. I thought Megan really matched the colors of the shop really well, but then I sort of was dressing her and paused and thought, Megan would be a really cute preschool teacher. So I scrapped Megan. She's not fit for this. She's going to be our preschool teacher when we redo our school. And at that point, I thought, well, who better than Patty? Because Patty has really great colors. She's very like neutral colored, and we could dress her up and make her look adorable as our little shopkeeper. I found, I think this is unpopular. I don't think Patty's generally liked, but I feel like she's really cute because she's neutral colored. Sometimes I love the like bright, villagers like Stitches and people are villagers like that, but I don't know, there's something super cute about Patty. So anyway, I dressed her up and I gave her like a little frilly girly dress. I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted, but I ended up just landing on this lacy dress, which I feel like complements her really well. I went for the yellow to match her, accent features, her horns and whatnot. And then Lottie called her up. But before we did that, we had to name our facility. I went for it, even though I had no ideas, and struggled for, I don't know, quite some time. You can see here, just the cursor is just sitting there as I struggle through a name. I ended up going for like a true boutique name. Personally, I felt like it needed like something and something. So I went for Needle and Thread, which maybe would be better for like a tailor shop instead of an apparel shop, but I thought it was super cute. I had to edit the spelling of the name because I needed to get my capitalization correct. But with that, we finished Needle and Thread. I was so happy with the way the apparel shop came out, and I had so much fun building it. I didn't really think I was going to go with this like little girly vibe, but in the end, I felt like it was actually pretty adorable. I hope the cute clothes end up being what I want them to be, but regardless, I had a great time building this, and I think it'll be really fun to finish it out. So with that, I told Lottie, hey girl, we're done and we're taking this cute little celebratory photo, which I had to include because I think it is so adorable when Nico jumps in the air. Every single time, I simply love it. We've got Miss Patty out here with us. She's running that shop, as you know. She is putting in the good work. Needle and Thread is finished, and that means we can take an adorable photo. If you don't know, heads up, this is a Happy Home Paradise spoiler. You unlock the apparel shop after 30 houses, and that is when you have a big event on the archipelago. So that's a little bit of what Lottie's talking about. So I paused to take my cute photo and look at Nico's jump. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Oh my goodness. Nothing we love more. We'll pause for a little walkthrough here, and I'll give you guys just an overview of the apparel shop. As you can see, we have Miss Coco and Pico here shopping today on the Archipelago apparel shop, which I'm so happy it was Coco and Pico. I feel like they're two of the best villagers to come and shop in here, and they just match the vibe perfectly. Isn't Pico the cutest? Look at her little cheeks. Look at her eyeing some shirts to shop through. I just absolutely love how this turned out, and I had such a great time building it. Here I am chatting it up with Pico, asking her what she's thinking of buying. Just stealing Patty's seat, but it's okay. I wanted to give you the view of, what it's like to work in this here apparel shop. I'm packing some gifts, we're ready to go. And with that, I'm getting a little tired. So why don't we call it a day? After all that building and that hard work, we deserve a break. Mild spoilers in the background for the end of Happy Home Paradise, but I just want to thank you guys so much for watching and for building this apparel shop with me. I had such a great time. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Animal Crossing content, and I'll see you in the next one.